Hi everyone, thanks for watching. Today I'm going to show you how I rebuild a Chris Creations Fatty V2. A lot of people you'll see will take a chunk of wick, I'll fold it in half, and wrap the coil right here in the middle. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't really care for it, but that's just me. So first, take a small chunk. This is a 3mm silica wick. About 2/3 the length of my pinky or so, maybe a little bit longer. So we're at about 1.5 inches. A segment like that, not too long. Now we take the pin that they include, if I can pick it up. Lay it right across the middle here. Now I use 32 gauge Kanthal just to try to get it. I'll do about a 4-5 wrap, hopefully come out to about 1.7-ish ohms. So they'll go to the top here, do 1 wrap, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, not too big. Let's get our pin out of here now. This is just the way, again, that I like it. I tried the U-shape wrap, and I just thought, like, I don't feel like I was getting very good vapor off of it at all. It's a little bit crooked. It's just because I'm a little OCD. Try to straighten it out just a little bit. Alright. So now, I'm going to put it on here. I want to lay it almost on top of this base right here. I mean, it is going to be just about touching, but not quite, because you know you don't want it to touch, basically create a short. So you get our first wrap underneath here, under this side. When you go to tighten it down, it's going to pull it a little bit. So sometimes we'll leave a little bit of extra, since it's going to pull it in anyways. Get that crank down there. Alright. Now this side, I don't try to snip it or anything just because it's so close to the edge. Just grab a hold of it, wiggle it around a little bit, and it snaps right off. Now the other side is a little harder. Push this over, out of the way. Now this side is definitely going to pull in. So, get it lined up in there. Crank this down. As you can see there, it just pulled it right over. This wire actually ends up sticking out close to the other screw. Not how close camera will recognize, but so again, just wiggle this around, snaps right off. So now I got that coil on there, but as you can see, it's kind of touching that middle screw. So go ahead. I used a little dental toothpick. Picked up my local Meijer for like, I think there's a pack of them. Came with one with rubber and plastic tips on it too, which is kind of nice for some things, but I think it was pretty cheap, $5 or $6. Let's push that away from that screw, kind of actually make it a little bit round. Bring this over a little bit. Make sure that's not touching. Make sure nothing's touching that bottom base, because that's going to create a short. So as you can see here though, I got my gap in between there. It's really close, but not touching. I like it that way because then if liquid starts to rush towards this, when you're actually trying to vape on it, this part, you know, it's actually liquid's gonna be pretty much hitting the coil. Let's get that straightened out how I want it. Now, when I go to put the top on here, obviously you got to recognize where the coil is. You got to recognize there's that dot right there. That's right below the 3 air holes. So I like to tip this over. Basically create a little half circle with this. Then I put this on here. Fresh wick, it's a lot stiffer than the wick I had on there before. So you're going to push this all inside of here so you create that half circle. Oh, where's my hole? There it is. Line that up. Go ahead and push this on there. When you look down in there, you can see the wick is kind of against the opposite side of the holes, but it's not all the way down. So you can do this with a toothpick even if you want also, but I'd use this because it's got a hook to it. And I bend these down and make sure the wick is touching basically that bottom well. Try to use that well as best you can for your dripping. So now if you look, you can see everything is pushed against the bottom. You can see the whole thing in there. Now, I've been vaping for a good week or two now. Some Boba's Bounty. It's become one of my favorites. Just drip a little bit of this in here. I just put 11 drops in there. And I'm just going to rotate this air side. Oops. Let's push that down all the way first. Duh. Air hole side up for the most part, or just to the side, and just kind of roll it along the wicks to try to get them well saturated. And it looks like it already soaked up all 11 drops I put in there, so I'll put in a couple more. Say 6 more. And as I do this, you'll notice the wick is obviously starting to turn translucent. If you're into rebuildables, and this isn't your first rebuildable most likely, so you already kind of know what you're doing for the most part. But I'll try to get that well saturated, and the wick actually tried to pick back up a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and force that back down. Make sure it stays on the bottom as best as I can. And once the wick and everything breaks in well, that won't really be a problem anymore. And that seems to absorb everything again. I can turn this upside down air hole wick down, and it barely soaks down there. It's still not there. So it's looking pretty good. Throw a couple more drops in there, just good measure. Looks like I actually have a little pool in there now. Throw a drip tip on here. This is a sick tip created here locally in Grand Rapids, Michigan. You can purchase them through Mr. E-Liquid. I think they are actually out of them right now. They sold out very quickly. They are wonderful. So you can see they have a very large hole on them. It is great for a dripping atomizer like this because you don't have to be super careful trying to drop everything in there. It's, you know, it's nice. So alright, throw it here on the ProVary. And yes, it is ProVary. Alright, let's get into the menu. Atomizer ohmage, what are we sitting at? 1.8, 1.9, pretty close. Alright, so back out of here a little bit, take a vape. I mean, I can get a fairly strong hit, like amazing drag off of this. It is awesome. I love this thing so much. Definitely, so far is one of the best dripping atomizers I've bought. So yeah, that's how I do my setup. If this works for you, let me know. Like I said, I've tried the stupid, you know, oh, let's take a wick and make a U out of it and wrap it in the middle and try to make a, you know, drip catcher. I didn't like the vape I got off of it. I just did not care for it. I don't feel like I got much amount of vapor out of it. I don't feel like I got much of a throat hit off of it. This one seems to work the best for me. Thanks for watching.